Hello, welcome back to our discussion on promoting interdisciplinary care at the intersection of faith and neuroscience. I'm Dr. Leonard Matheson. Today we're going to talk about the Counseling Progress Assessment exit interview. And I guess the first question to ask would be, why should we do an exit interview? Well, there are four important reasons. First, we want to affirm the client's courage to participate in counseling. It takes courage. You not only have to be more transparent than normal, you have to be willing to surrender some of your independence. And then we need to talk about difficult issues. The second reason to conduct an exit interview is to confirm the client's progress. Progress has been made and that needs to be acknowledged. The third reason to conduct an exit interview is to lock in the client's learning. Learning has occurred and we need to acknowledge that. And more importantly, the client needs to acknowledge that to himself or herself. And the fourth reason to conduct an exit interview is to encourage new referrals. I put that in brackets because that's our reason. That benefits us. The first three are entirely to benefit the client. Living life well requires courage. Courage is an important character strength. We help the client to develop courage as they participate with us in counseling. And courage is the counter to shame. Shame is often what freezes us. The client has come to you, spent several weeks or months with you, and developed courage. As they move on into their future, they take that courage with them. And that's the courage that they're going to use to not get stuck again. Learning to be courageous in the face of shame is crucial for a healthy future. Research shows that character strength develops in response to approbation. That is, we recognize that the person is courageous. That simple act, that few minutes to discuss what the client has been able to do in their weeks or months with you to develop their courage, is crucial to lock it in. And we also need to lock in the progress that the client has made. Research at Stanford by Albert Bandura has shown time and again that in order to improve self-efficacy, we need to call out and identify personal agency. People often make progress in counseling. They feel better, but they're actually getting better, and we need to call that out. Part of our job as we begin to wrap things up with the client is to identify personal agency. Research shows that that improves enduring self-efficacy. And I've been talking about locking in learning all along here, haven't I? Procedural and episodic memory evaporate. If we can transfer procedural memory and episodic memory to semantic memory, we lock in the learning that has occurred. I'll talk about how to do that in just a few minutes. And how about encouraging new referrals? Now this is for us rather than the client. That's why it's in parens. Word of mouth referrals require a trusting relationship, and the client has learned to trust you. Conducting a careful exit interview helps to underline that trust. You're going to wind up with many more referrals in the future from your clients if you've been able to do that. It's just a natural part of the counseling process that can benefit us if we handle it properly. How do we do this? Well, it's pretty simple. We've used the CPA at the start of the counseling process, and we re-administer it as we begin to wrap up. We compare the start and finish scores on the 3 NIH PROMIS measures for anxiety, depression, and sleep disturbance, and we do a comparison of the quality of life ratings. Now we start with numerical comparisons, but of course we expand beyond that. And just as the CPA helped us to structure an intake interview, we're going to use it to structure an exit interview. So how do I affirm courage? I thank the client for trusting God to lead us through this process. Part of the superior efficacy of Christian counseling over secular counseling hinges on the centrality of God in the process. In addition to the supernatural aspects of it, the interpersonal and relational aspects of engaging in a relationship with God when times get tough is crucial. We have affirmed their courage in trusting God. Now they have trusted us, and that's important to recognize, but they're not going to be with us forever. Next, we want to confirm the client's progress. Very simply, I ask, what was your most valuable lesson? It turns out to be a very interesting question. Now, there are specific lessons that the client has learned. Those lessons can be identified, and we'll talk about locking in learning in just a moment. But the central lesson was that the client had God-given personal agency. That is, the client has learned to use the free will that God has given us to live life to the full. That was the client's most valuable lesson. And then finally, there are 3 things that I do to encourage new referrals. I ask a question that reflects my own desire to be transparent. What can I improve? Clients are surprised by this, but it reminds them that we have been in a collegial relationship. We've been client-counselor rather than patient-doctor. We've been guiding rather than directing the client's progress. The next thing that I do is to set up a follow-up appointment. The timing of that depends on the client. I don't go any earlier than 3 months, and I don't go any later than 1 year, but I do set up a follow-up appointment. I tell the client that she can cancel it if she wants to, but we're going to put it on the books. About 2/3 of my clients follow through, and we wind up having an ongoing relationship. Every 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, I just had a client come back after 18 months. The point is that we've got a relationship that the client can continue to use. And the third thing that I do is to ask for permission to offer them pertinent shares by email. If I come across an article, a TED Talk, something that I think the client might benefit from, do I have the client's permission to share it with them by email? This really is a different approach to marketing, but it is marketing. Some clients will hear from me every couple of weeks. Some clients might not hear from me for a couple of months. But as I come across something that might be pertinent to the client, I do send it along. That helps me to maintain with the client an ongoing, healthy, and respectful relationship because I've asked for permission. And so that's how I handle the CPA Exit Interview. Remember that you've got a free trial available. Contact us if you'd like to pursue that. We offer a free trial with the CPA. Use it on a pre-post basis with your clients to demonstrate the efficacy of the services that you offer. Thanks for listening.